While enjoying this episode of the Copious Review of SmackDown Live, please give a thought, well wishes, and even a prayer to Hall of Famer and legend superstar Billy Graham, who is once again hospitalized in what is being categorized by his wife as very serious health problems. Superstar Billy Graham, please get well soon because you are the only man tough enough to pull off that pink cabbie hat. Our thoughts are with you, superstar. Get well soon. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave. Now, as you know, I did not do the SmackDown live review last night. I had a really bad setback. For those of you who have been watching the channel a while know I have medical problems. Medically retired from the United States Army. I have nerve damage. Long story short, I had a bad night, very, very bad night, and I was incapable of staying up all night to do the review, let alone sitting here and doing it. But I got just enough strength to go ahead and knock out this review of SmackDown Live now. So that's what I'm going to do. And I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm just in a bad mood because I'm in an extreme amount of pain or what, but I'm not going to gild the lily here, mince my words or anything like that. SmackDown sucked. SmackDown, and you guys know that I don't do that. That is not usually my bag. I try to be thoughtful. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I try to look at things, but SmackDown was basically awful. I was not happy with anything that I saw tonight. There was a few things that were passable, but man, I just do not understand the direction, the style, the feel, anything about this show. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand the angles. The angles make the wrestling almost unwatchable. I have never, ever, ever been so taken out of an American Alpha match like I was tonight. Last night, whatever. I watched it today. It was just terrible, man. These angles, I'm going to get into all that. I'm going to get into exactly why I did not enjoy this episode of SmackDown and why I think SmackDown's in a lot of trouble. I'm going to talk about all of that. They need to make some changes right now. Let's just get right into the copious amounts of notes, man. I got a lot of notes. Let's go ahead and hit on them, and we'll get up out of here. I won't take up too much of your precious time. Basically, SmackDown Live just feels like it's trying to take everything way too seriously. From the opening to backstage vignettes to even Renee Young, who really was the only thing that was just consistently good. Every time she was on camera tonight, she delivered, had no issues. But other than that, everybody seemed to have issues tonight. And main talking point for me is the fact that they're just taking everything so goddamn seriously. I mean, the drama. This was supposed to be the no bullshit wrestling show, and it's being anything but that. Why are we getting Dean Ambrose talking about his legacy? What the fuck are they doing to this guy's character? It's just so weird. He should never be talking about his legacy in a serious manner. That should never happen. I liked him much better later on in the show when he was with Renee Young, where he was just being Dean. I did not like this whole serious nature, Dean Ambrose. It doesn't work. It takes away from what makes him unique, what makes him special. They're all over the place with Dean Ambrose right now, and I just don't get it. I really don't. But he was the least of the worries tonight because botches. Promo botches as far as the eye can see. Can anybody on this roster talk? It is unbelievable that we could not get a clean segment the entire night without somebody just botching words or misusing things, from Daniel Bryan being just awful every time that he opened his mouth. Apollo Creed, really? I mean, geez, Daniel Bryan is not long for the GM role. The commentary was awful. Mauro Ranallo was awful. Awful. Ranallo was awful tonight. I'm sorry, man. I'm a fan. You guys know I love Ranallo, but he is awful tonight. He just did not have it. He misintroduced segments like twice during this show. I don't know, man. He has no chemistry with JBL. JBL just interrupts everybody. David Otunga is so gun-shy. The commentary was about as bad as I've heard it in a very long time. And I'm talking even at its worst on Raw, this was bad. This was worse than any of that. I was very disappointed with the commentary, with everything tonight. Just nothing worked. Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about Dolph Ziggler, man. He's bad. And when he tries to get serious, it's even worse. Him screaming at Dean Ambrose was an absolute atrocity. Don't try to act. I don't understand this push now for Ziggler. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And the fans don't care. The fans don't care, and why would they care? That you waited way too long to pop this guy. You had an opportunity 2 years ago at Survivor Series. You didn't take it, and now it's over. It's all over but the crying, man. He's finished. It's just not going to work. They tried tonight because after that terrible opening, Bray Wyatt came out and tried to save it. Now, there was some thought there right by me at the beginning that, okay, they're going to pivot off to Bray Wyatt. But this, to me, trying to get Ziggler over at the expense of Bray Wyatt is even a worse decision had they had just moved Ziggler out of the title picture. I do not like this. I don't like inserting now the Wyatt family into this situation. So now what? Now Ziggler and Ambrose are going to team up next week. We'll talk about why that is going to be a little bit later on. Just, I don't know, man. I bugged the shit out of me. It really did. But I will say that as far as the opening segment, Bray Wyatt saved it with that attack and his subsequent promo. He showed that there is somebody who could talk on this roster. He showed that not everybody is just a botch waiting to happen. Good job, Bray Wyatt, for saving the segment, but it didn't really matter at the end of the night. Is it me, or was anybody else just thoroughly confused with the Eva Marie spot? Is this going to be her gimmick where she is just never going to get into the ring? Are they protecting her? What is the point of that? That stupid intro with the guy with the voiceover just for her to pull out of the match with a stupid faked injury. It's so annoying. The heat that Eva Marie generates is good enough on its own. You don't need to do stuff like this because you're not helping her. You're hurting her character. Made absolutely no sense. Again, this is supposed to be a wrestling program. That's how SmackDown was being advertised. And it seems to be about everything else but wrestling. Even the angles take away from the wrestling, like they did in American Alpha's debut, which I was so excited for, but I just felt that they were inflating it a little bit much. They did not get a good reaction from a admittedly really, really bad crowd tonight. Tennessee about as awful as I've ever heard them be. That was really bad. Crowd didn't pop for anybody, or maybe WWE was just finagling with the audio again. I don't know, but American Alpha did not really seem to get a whole hell of a lot of reaction, and their in-ring work tonight was as solid as ever, but you can't tell because the angles take you out of it. The angles take you out of the match. You can't even get anywhere near excited about it. It just makes no sense at all. At all. I just did not understand it. I'm like, why are they shooting like this? It doesn't feel impactful. You don't feel like you're invested. It really doesn't work. And they need to fix that immediately because it took me out of it tonight from one of my favorite acts. I mean, I love American Alpha and I couldn't care less, man. I could care, whatever the saying is. I hated it. I really did. I really was not happy with that portion of it. Yes, my wife is off to the side making all kinds of noise with her new phone.
Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. You're lucky you have a great haircut. You look so pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pretty woman, I'm going to go ahead and forgive that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired. Okay. Also, we got a new number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Apollo Crews, not Creed. Apollo Crews gets the victory in what was shaping up to be a very good match. And then it just kind of lost all of its dynamic and they ended it so quickly. I did not really like that. I thought that was kind of a wasted opportunity to highlight these guys a little bit more. Once again, wrestling show. Where's the wrestling? You had an opportunity to really highlight three guys in different manners. Now, after the match, I think Corbin worked really well there. I enjoyed what he did as far as attacking The Miz, even though he is not going to be the number one contender. I enjoyed that. It doesn't hurt Baron Corbin at all. I think Apollo Crews is probably the right guy to win this match, but I think he could have done it in more spectacular fashion. Because does it feel like Apollo Crews is going to beat The Miz? He should, but I don't feel it. I don't know. So this is maybe more nitpicking. I don't know. AJ Styles and John Cena. Let's talk about that. It was my favorite thing of the night. It was. But Styles just, without the club, he seemed to really get lost in his promo tonight. I enjoy his heel work so much, but it was kind of all over the place. Kind of like me right now in this show, just kind of all over the place. We'll fucking deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. Cena, I felt, went really hard with his promo tonight. I think it worked. It was very impactful. He hit hard with his words. He did a good job of really highlighting who he is and everything, because I didn't feel that was shtickish or bullshit. It felt like it was real, and that's what's kind of the double-edged sword of John Cena. It's what people don't like about him, but at the same time, it's what people admire about the guy. It's very weird. I feel that AJ Styles did a really good job of finishing the promo very strong, making up for earlier lacklusterness of the entire situation. Ended really strong. It was my favorite segment of the night. Speaking of one of my favorite things, before we continue on in the copious review of SmackDown, let's give a little bit of shout out and a little bit of love to you guys, man, who are coming out and supporting the graphics design challenge. The Copious Graphics Design Challenge, you guys are kicking ass on that. So while I did not do the live review, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been submitting graphics to show your creativity. You're doing a great job. And here's a little bit of a slideshow of some of the graphics that we got for this week's SmackDown. Good stuff all around. And I'm going to let this play in the background as I continue on and talk about the next thing I have in my copious amounts of notes, which is the Lesnar RKO angle. Okay, it was predictable as hell. Everybody knew what was going to happen there, but it is doing its job as far as building a buzz for that match for SummerSlam. Look, still disgusted at the fact that Lesnar is on television every week now, but I think I understand it. I think I get why. Lesnar does not do back-to-back shows very often. He doesn't do constant performing. It's just not who he is anymore. He's doing it for a reason, though. You know, he is putting his best foot forward because they kind of have to with him. He needs to show that he is all in on the wrestling side of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more of him going forward. I don't think it would be a good idea to stop now. They've already gone ahead and said, fuck it, he's not going to be punished. He's exempt from the wellness policy. So now go balls out. Put him on as much as you can. That's just how it is. You have leverage now. You know, you do have leverage in discussions with Lesnar. Go ahead and take advantage of it. I like that RKO had a match with Fandango, even though it didn't really matter. It was overshadowed by Lesnar, but at least RKO was getting into the situation with another wrestler, especially one that needs a little bit of highlighting like Fandango. So I appreciated that out of it, even though Lesnar does come in and steal the spotlight a little bit. But that's okay because it's highlighting their match for SummerSlam. So good stuff there. I really enjoyed the Heath Slater segment. That is until that awful, almost comedic gore at the end. I did not really like that. Daniel Bryan, once again, I think we need an ambulance or a medic. Oh, we think we need a medic. Daniel Bryan, Jesus, please stop. Not a fan of that. Dean Ambrose back on the screen with Renee. Let's keep doing that. I like the whole SmackDown set where they're doing the interviews. I thought that was kind of cool. He was just better. He seemed more comfortable. He was more of who he was, kind of weird, kind of herky-jerky. That is what he needs to be. You have to keep his momentum going by being the guy that people want to see. And that is the version of Dean Ambrose that people want to see. Make no mistake about it. After that, I don't know what the hell anybody was thinking by letting Carmella change up her intro walk to the ring shit. I mean, what the hell was she talking about? Getting your popcorn and... Oh my God, it was awful. It was awful. I'm glad Natalya beat the crap out of her. Jesus. They got an issue, man. They don't seem to have a strength, a full-on strength in any division like that you can really point to and go, yes, they're going to create a women's title apparently. But this division is so weak. They're not even highlighting Becky. I mean, Jesus, Becky couldn't even get a match because for some reason it was more important to do a weird shtick with Eva Marie. It was just weird. And then Natalya, I guess Natalya is going to be the alpha dog. She's going to get a secondary women's title, I guess. Okay, fuck it. Let's get on board with that. Oh, well. Main event, Ziggler and Bray Wyatt. Fine match, but the angles just continue to take me out of it. I cannot watch it. It just doesn't work, man. Ziggler does win. You know, they're trying to make him more important. They're trying to make it seem like he really earned this and all this, whatever. But then you have him win in this type of manner where he has to... The only way he could beat Bray Wyatt is to bounce his head off the steel of the turnbuckle. I don't get that. If you want to highlight Dolph Ziggler, let him be a highlight. You know, do not take a cheap way out. It doesn't make any sense. And then he gets overshadowed again by Eric Rowan, of all people, who comes in and destroys him. And then he goes and eats another Sister Abigail. Very weird. Very weird, and it's just not effective. And now we're going to get Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler as a tag team to fend off the Wyatts until SummerSlam? I don't understand it. I just didn't get it. That's the biggest thing about SmackDown tonight. I just didn't get it. I did not like it. I didn't enjoy it. They need to do a lot of fixing. I'm not even getting scientific with this one. You know what? Yes, I am. You know, fuck that. Here, scientific. Let's get scientific in the review. The audio, the commentary was absolutely horrible. I'm giving the commentary a 5 tonight. I thought it was the worst showing. Ranello is just not getting the job done, at least on this episode. I liked him last week. This week, not so much. It was mainly because he seems to have no chemistry with either guy that he's working with. So I give it a 5. Just really, really disappointing from that aspect. I don't understand. Very confusing. Very confusing. Let's talk about the production. The thing that I have been beating up the entire show. I'll continue to beat it up. The angles are horrible. I'm giving it a 4. Production looks like shit. Absolute horrible. I hate the intro. I hate the graphics package. The only thing I liked, and this is why it's getting a 4, is I actually like the thing on the side that shows a little bio of the wrestlers, but that's not new. WWE has done this themselves in the past. So, I did not like it. Production was awful. I give it a 4, which I am not used to giving WWE a bad grade on production value. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Fix those angles. Cannot watch wrestling like that. It doesn't work. Promos and vignettes. Nobody could get through a promo besides Bray Wyatt tonight without botching. The promos were really bad. I'm giving it a straight up 5. I thought the promos were bad. I didn't think there was a lot of good vignettes in the back. Daniel Bryan was involved in a lot of them, and the guy just can't talk. It was just really, really awful. Wrestling. The wrestling. The thing that should save SmackDown every week, because this is supposed to be the wrestling show, remember. The wrestling, I can't even tell you how good the wrestling was. I don't know, because the angles took away so much from it that I can't tell you. From what I was able to see, it wasn't atrocious. The wrestling seemed to be clean. I really couldn't pick out a lot of botches, and the finishes were at least interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and give the wrestling a 6, because I can't give it any higher because I couldn't see the main spots of it because the angles were so bad. So that gives us a score of 20, which once divided by 4, because that's how averages work, we get our scientific review score of 5. I didn't even need a calculator for that. It's a 5. And that seems about right. That seems about correct. This was a 5 at best. And now we know it's a scientific 5. SmackDown gets a 5. Not happy with it. What did you guys think? Hit me up in the comment section below or on Twitter at @thatondavv. Sorry, I know this is not my best. You know what? I'm giving myself a 5 today. This review is not my best. I'm just out of it. I feel like crap. I need to rest. So we'll see how I feel tonight. If I'm up and I'm able, you'll get a review of CWC and NXT, but I can't make any promises on that. I haven't been doing it anyway. It's been my day off. Wednesday has been the day that I've been taking some rest, but we'll see. I didn't do the live SmackDown review, so maybe I'll do it tonight if my wife will let me. She was nice enough to let me do this, so we'll see. Thank you guys very much for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. I hope you enjoyed the review. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. We'll see you next time. Keep it copious, folks. Peace.